Let's start with our first news. Eddie Hearn has stepped into the spotlight with bold comments about Tom Aspinall, the UFC, and the stalled mega fight with Jon Jones. In a recent interview, Hearn revealed that the UFC reportedly offered Jones around $15 million for the fight, a figure he clearly believes is not good enough for a matchup of that magnitude. He didn't hold back, suggesting that fighters at the top level are still not being treated fairly when it comes to pay. Hearn explained that his involvement with Aspinall through Matchroom is not about pulling him away from the UFC. Instead, it's about having smarter negotiations and making sure fighters like Tom receive what they truly deserve. According to Hearn, the goal is simple: ensure fair terms, better structure, and respect for champions who carry the division. The tension between Hearn and Dana White continues to grow, especially with the rise of Zuffa boxing. This situation adds even more pressure on the UFC, as outside promoters are now openly challenging their business model and fighter pay structure. Meanwhile, Aspinall remains the UFC heavyweight champion, but his career has been slowed down due to a serious eye injury. At the same time, Jones has reportedly asked for his release, leaving the entire division in a state of uncertainty. The biggest fight in heavyweight history is right there, yet still not finalized. Hearn went even further, saying that if both fighters were not under UFC contracts, he would pay them double what the UFC is offering. That statement alone shows just how valuable this fight truly is in the global market. He also emphasized that if the UFC plans to move forward with massive fights, including a potential clash with Alex Pereira, they need to start respecting their champions properly. In his words, if there is $100 million involved, giving a champion a tiny fraction is simply a joke. Right now, the pressure is building, and according to Hearn, the UFC is in a very bad position. If they want to keep their biggest stars happy, they may finally have to listen and pay fighters what they are truly worth. Move on to another news. Dana White has officially shut down the recent claim that Islam Makhachev would be returning in July. The statement came after Ali Abdelaziz suggested that Islam was being lined up for a summer comeback. However, Dana quickly corrected that narrative, making it clear that the UFC has different plans. According to Dana, Islam's next welterweight title defense is now expected to take place in August, not July. This slight delay may not seem huge, but it completely changes the timeline fans were expecting. While the UFC president did not officially confirm an opponent, all signs are pointing in one very clear direction. The name gaining the most traction right now is Michael Morales. The undefeated rising contender has been making serious noise, and recently, he strongly hinted on social media that he has already signed the contract. That alone has fueled speculation, but it doesn't stop there. Ali Abdelaziz had previously mentioned that the UFC was actively pushing for this exact matchup. Now, with Dana confirming the August timeline, everything is starting to line up perfectly. It looks more and more like Islam versus Morales is about to become official for the welterweight title. This fight has already created massive buzz among fans. On one side, you have Islam, widely considered the pound-for-pound king, dominating opponents with his elite grappling and relentless pressure. On the other side, Morales brings an undefeated record, confidence, and serious momentum into what would easily be the biggest fight of his career. The contrast in styles, experience, and stakes makes this potential clash extremely explosive. Fans are already hyped, knowing this could either solidify Islam's dominance or mark the arrival of a brand new superstar in the division. With the timeline now pushed to August, the anticipation is only going to build even more. The UFC appears to be carefully setting the stage, and all the signals suggest that this blockbuster showdown is just one official announcement away. Move on to another news. Israel Adesanya is coming into this weekend with a very clear message. He's ready for a huge comeback. Ahead of his fight with Joe Pyfer, Izzy made it known that he's not just looking to win. He wants to deliver a performance so dominant that fans will start questioning why they ever doubted him in the first place. The former champion isn't concerned about age, criticism, or talk about being past his prime. Instead, he's locked in on proving that he still belongs at the very top of the middleweight division. Izzy openly said that this fight is about rewriting his story, showing the world that after time away, he can return better than ever. He acknowledged how the fight game works. You are only as good as your last performance. That's exactly why he wants this moment to hit hard. When he steps out of the cage this weekend, his goal is to leave fans stunned, making them say, "How did we ever doubt him?" Looking back, Adesanya's only losses at middleweight have come against elite competition like Alex Pereira, Sean Strickland, and Nassourdine Imavov. In his eyes, there's no shame in losing to the best. Now, he believes that a strong, dominant victory over Pfeiffer can push him straight back into the top 3 and reignite his title ambitions. This fight is being viewed as a major turning point in Izzy's career. A convincing win could silence critics instantly and throw him right back into the title conversation in a stacked 185-pound division. The pressure is there, but Izzy seems to be embracing it fully. He also revealed an interesting update, saying that Robert Whittaker has already started training at his gym for a potential light heavyweight debut. While the opponent remains unknown, it adds another layer of intrigue to the current landscape. Izzy also spoke about the changes he's made during his time away. He focused heavily on details, discipline, and improving his mindset. One key adjustment he mentioned was spending less time on his phone, realizing how much it affects focus and attention. Now he feels sharper, more present, and completely ready. Everything points toward a highly motivated Adesanya stepping into the cage, determined to remind everyone exactly who he is. Move on to another news. Daniel Cormier has just pulled back the curtain on something fans rarely hear about: how fighters actually make money behind the scenes. Speaking alongside Ben Askren, DC, revealed that every year, fighters receive a detailed envelope showing their royalties, and the numbers can be huge. According to Cormier, one of the biggest hidden income sources comes from the EA Sports UFC franchise. Fighters get paid based on how often they are used in the game. The more popular you are, the more players pick you, and the more money you make. It's that simple. DC specifically pointed out that fighters like Justin Gaethje and Alex Pereira are likely receiving monster checks because of their popularity and constant usage in the game. These aren't small bonuses. These are serious paydays that add up over time. He went on to explain how the entire system works. At the end of each year, fighters receive an envelope labeled royalties. Inside is a massive breakdown, sometimes dozens, even hundreds of pages, listing every single item connected to them. From t-shirt sales to merchandise to video game usage, everything is tracked in detail. Cormier described it as almost unbelievable. Every shirt sold, every product ordered, every appearance, it's all documented line by line. And at the end of it, fighters receive a check that reflects exactly how much they've generated. For some, that number can be massive. He also shared a personal detail, saying that until recently, he still preferred getting physical checks instead of digital payments. He liked seeing the money in his hands, whether it came from commentary work or fight-related earnings. Along with those checks came the full statement, showing exactly where every dollar came from. This insight shows that fighter income goes far beyond just fight purses and bonuses. There's an entire business happening in the background that many fans never see. Meanwhile, in another developing story, Colby Covington has responded to claims about a potential fight with Bo Nickel. Covington insists he was never offered the fight, despite recent comments suggesting he turned it down. The situation adds more drama to an already heated matchup discussion. Move on to another news. Colby Covington is firing back after recent claims that he turned down a fight with Bo Nickel for the rumored White House card. Speaking in a heated interview with Ariel Helwani, Colby made it crystal clear, calling the entire story fake news. According to Colby, the fight was never officially offered for that event. He even went as far as saying they could call Hunter Campbell right now to confirm it. In his words, there was no real offer on the table for him to face Bo at the White House, despite what's been circulating online. Colby explained that he actually showed willingness to fight anyone, including Bo, but only under the right conditions. He said he even asked directly if a fight with Bo would land him on the White House card. The response he claims he received was clear. There were limited spots, and that fight would not be included. That's where things changed. Colby made it known that if he's not fighting on a big stage like that, then he's staying in his natural division. He emphasized that he has spent his entire career at 170 pounds, calling himself an ultimate professional who has never missed weight. He also didn't hold back when talking about Bo, dismissing him as someone who hasn't earned his position yet. Colby questioned why he would move up to middleweight to fight someone he believes hasn't proven himself in a main event. For him, it simply doesn't make sense. Colby further revealed that the UFC floated the idea of making the fight happen later in the year, but again, only under certain conditions. His stance remained firm. If he's taking a fight with a full training camp, which he says should be 8 to 12 weeks, then it has to be at 170. No exceptions. He also mentioned that in his previous situation, he was given very short notice, around a week and a half, which made things far from ideal. This time, he wants everything done properly, with enough time to prepare and perform at his best. Shortly after these statements, Bo responded publicly, accusing Colby of avoiding the fight, adding even more heat to the situation. The back and forth continues to build serious tension, turning this potential matchup into one of the most talked about storylines right now. Move on to another news. Khamzat is facing growing concerns ahead of his highly anticipated fight against Sean Strickland. Recent comments from his longtime teammate, Ivan Starov, have raised eyebrows in the MMA community. Starov expressed serious doubts about whether Khamzat will even make it to the cage in optimal condition, hinting that his health and preparation could be a major factor in the bout. Coming from someone so close to Khamzat, these remarks immediately sparked concern throughout Russian MMA media. A few days prior, another teammate, UFC lightweight contender Arman, weighed in on Khamzat's performance, noting that his tendency to slow down in fights isn't just about cardio, but often the result of brutal weight cuts and insufficient preparation. These comments have only added to the uncertainty surrounding Khamzat's first middleweight title defense at UFC 328. While nothing is official yet, insider concerns are definitely growing, and fans are closely watching every update. Analysts and insiders have started to compare Khamzat's upcoming challenge with previous fights. While he handled fighters like DDP and Kamaru Usman with relative ease, Strickland presents a very different challenge. Strickland is not only difficult to take down, but he's also strong, technically sound, and manages the cage with exceptional skill. His wrestling, defense, and cardio make him a formidable opponent, and he's widely regarded as a tank in the middleweight division. Considering Khamzat's recent weight cuts and his reported condition in training, there are legitimate questions about how prepared he truly is. Even minor differences in size, strength, and conditioning can have a significant impact against a fighter like Strickland. While Khamzat has the talent and skill to compete at the highest level, these internal concerns highlight the potential risks heading into the fight. The build-up to UFC 328 is now filled with intrigue, as fans wait to see if Khamzat can overcome these challenges and deliver a strong performance. His preparation, weight management, and overall condition will be under the microscope, and the fight could serve as a key indicator of his ability to dominate in the middleweight division moving forward. Move on to another news. Ian Garry is growing increasingly frustrated as he continues to wait for the UFC's call regarding a title shot. In a recent video, Garry made it clear that he feels completely overlooked despite his position in the welterweight division. He emphasized that he should 1000% be next in line to fight Islam Makhachev for the belt. According to Garry, this is not just another fight, it's the fight. The matchup against Islam is by far the biggest, most intriguing, and most marketable fight in the division right now. Fans want to see this clash, and Garry believes it's the perfect opportunity to showcase his skills on the biggest stage. He expressed frustration with the UFC for delaying the decision and not giving him a clear answer. For Garry, the fight isn't just about a belt. It's about recognition, momentum, and proving himself against the pound-for-pound level talent that Islam represents. Every day of waiting adds to the anticipation, but also to his growing desire to get the opportunity he feels he has earned. Garry's comments highlight a larger conversation in the division about fighter opportunities and timing. With Islam holding the welterweight title and dominating his opponents, fans are eager to see him face new challengers who can bring excitement and challenge to the division. Gary's insistence on being the next contender adds pressure on the UFC to make the matchup happen. This situation underscores the tension between fighters' ambitions and the UFC's scheduling decisions. Gary remains patient but vocal, determined to make it clear that he is ready for the fight, prepared to step up, and confident he can deliver an exciting and high-stakes matchup against Islam. Fans are now watching closely, waiting to see if the UFC will finally make the call and set up the fight everyone wants to see.